Welcome to the Brunch Club, a podcast brought to you by 3 dietetic and nutrition students and future dietitians who are true foodies at heart. Meet your hosts, Jenny, Stacey, and Hannah, who spit nothing but the truth around health and nutrition.
We are excited to provide you with body-positive, anti-diet culture and non-restrictive health facts and tips.
Join us with your cup of coffee or glass of mimosa and get ready to listen to us chew away nutrition myths, discuss hot topics, and share our journeys to becoming registered dietitians. Let's brunch!
Hello and welcome to the first episode of the Brunch Club. So this is going to be a bit of a shorter episode, and basically we are going to be introducing ourselves to you, and you're going to be learning a little bit about our academic journey, our values as dietitians to be, and some of the nutrition and fitness myths that make us cringe. So first things first, let's talk about why are we creating this podcast in the first place? What sets us apart from all the other fitness and health gurus out there? So our goal is essentially to provide factual nutrition information in a world that's full of twisted messages from diet and fitness culture. It's really confusing to figure out what decisions to make as far as food and what to believe. So we're hoping to clear that up a little bit and have some fun while doing it.
Yes, so we'll go into introductions and we'll start off with Stacey.
Hi everyone, so my name is Stacey and I am in my Bachelor's of Science in Dietetics and Nutrition degree, and I plan on becoming a registered dietitian. I will be graduating with my bachelor's in the fall of this year, and I will be applying to DICUS, which is the internship process, and possibly also applying for my master's degree, just so I have a couple options on what I'm going to do.
So I am Jenny. I graduate this upcoming school year. So I'm graduating with my bachelor's in science of dietetics and nutrition. And I'm considering both DICUS and pursuing my master's pursuing my master's in dietetics. And then starting that fall of 2021. I'm just leaving both options out on the table.
My name is Hannah, and I'm also a senior in the Dietetics and Nutrition program. So I will be graduating spring 2021, and then I plan to go straight into the master's before I consider internships.
Yeah, so we're all kind of on the similar path here, but we all got here in a different way, and our journeys are all pretty different. So why don't we talk about, why did we choose dietetics and nutrition in the first place, and how did we get to where we are now? Jenny, do you want to start?
Well, first, I am diabetic, so that was a huge influence for me in choosing this career path, as I have always been really passionate about helping others with diabetes, but not just that, but also just helping others make smart food choices and learn more about their bodies and learn more about nutrition as a whole. So I've always just loved talking about food. So that's one of the bigger things that really drove me into this. But and then how did I get here? Wow. Well, I've been on this journey for a very long time, and it's kind of crazy now that I'm thinking the end is near. Well, the end of school is near, but not actually becoming a dietitian. But yeah, I don't even know how to begin, where it all started. I guess I was living in Tampa at the time. I was pursuing a degree in public health, and when I was doing that, I was kind of what can I do in public health that will be related to diabetes, since back in Tampa they did not have a nutrition program. And with that, I got involved with the American Diabetes Association, and with that, I met a dietitian. And I was like, yeah, no, public health is just not it for me. I want to do what she does. What she's doing is super cool, super fun. She's educating people. She's talking to people all the time. That's what I want to do. I don't want to sit here and ask people for donations for upcoming events. That's not fun. And that's what basically you did as a public health person with the American Diabetes Association. So since that, I was like, all right, let me take a step back. Let me think about how can I do this? I need to look up schools. I need to look up steps I need to take. And with that, I was like, all right, FIU, Miami. I love Miami. I was born in Miami. I need to go back there. So I applied, got in, and transferred. And that's how I ended up where I am currently.
Awesome. So my story is kind of similar in the sense that I also started pursuing a degree in nursing because I've always had a love for science and I've always had a passion and desire to truly help people. And that was the best way at the time that I knew how to do that in my career. So I'm like, let me go for nursing. It'll be that perfect combination. Um, but it just didn't feel completely right to me. Like I loved everything about it, but it just didn't feel like my purpose was there. And during that time in my life, I was at Florida Gulf Coast University and I was getting really into fitness and working out. So, and nutrition has always been something that's important in my life. Like I've always been very interested in it. But I never really thought of it as a career because at the time I didn't know what a dietitian was. I thought it was just nutritionists. And I'm like, that's like the same thing as like being a personal trainer almost. Like, um, you get a certificate and you do whatever you do with that certificate. And I'm like, that's not really the path that I want to go down. So it wasn't until I was completely like I decided I did not want to do nursing at all, that I was just Googling other professions in the health field. What can I do? Um, and dietitian popped up and I was like, oh my God, like I love food, I love science, I love nutrition. This is meant for me. So I was supposed to be starting the nursing program that following semester. And I was like, oh crap, I need to make a decision right now. So I applied to FIU and they thankfully accepted me like without even my final transcripts because they knew the position that I was in. So I got really lucky there and I ended up starting at FIU the following that next semester in the spring. So that's kind of what got me here. But just like you, Jenny, like I wasn't on that path to begin with.
So my story is a little bit less, it's a little anticlimactic. There's not really like a whole journey behind it, but basically my mom is a dental hygienist. And so of course, for the most part, dental hygienists are very conscious as to, different health factors and what you're eating and how they impact the health of your teeth and things like that. And so my mom always instilled healthy values within me. Growing up, I always ate a lot of fruit and veggie, and my meals were always balanced, and there was really no restricting. I don't really remember my mom like dieting. And so I had a really healthy relationship with food growing up because of my mom. And I remember learning a little bit about nutrition when I was like 13, and I thought it was really interesting. But I wasn't crazy passionate about it. It wasn't like a turning point where I was like, oh, this is what I want to do. But I knew as I got older throughout high school, and there's so much pressure as to what do you want to do for the rest of your life. I knew I wanted to do something with health, but I couldn't handle being a nurse. I knew that. I applaud all nurses. I didn't want to be a doctor, and I was just like, what else is there in the health profession that I feel called to do? And so I was kind of in a similar situation where I was just Googling different careers within the health profession, and I found dietetics and nutrition. And I saw, oh, nutritionist, and I was like, okay, I want to be a nutritionist. And I thought, like, you have to be this little lady wearing yoga pants, like eating broccoli all day. But the more I looked into it, I was like, wow, this is incredible. Like there's various types of dietitians that can help specific populations with certain diseases. And I was just so intrigued. And so basically ever since I was 14, I knew that I wanted to be a dietitian. And so all of my plans basically revolved around that. I got my associate's degree at Miami-Dade, taking the prerequisites for the nutrition dietetic program at FIU. And then I applied, and the rest is history. Now I'm here. So that was my journey.
And
I
we're
love
almost all done. It's
I
Yay.
know,
so
I can't believe
crazy.
it. It went by
Yeah,
fast.
it went by really fast. It's really crazy. And something you mentioned, Hannah, which I thought was like really important, is the fact that there's so many different avenues that you can go into with nutrition. Like, I know you're like, oh yeah, the little lady that tells everyone to eat broccoli. Like, literally that's how I went into it. And I was like, I'm totally okay with that. And then as I went into it, I was like, wait, I am not totally okay with just some people to eat vegetables. And there's so many different things you could do, which makes it a
Yeah.
lot more interesting.
For sure.
But with that being said, so we're so passionate about nutrition and dietetics, but we also have like these myths and these like things that influencers always talk about and people on social media that we just disagree with. So Stacey, what is one that you just absolutely cannot get on board with?
So I hear this all the time. And for those of you listening, I work at a gym. And like the most common question when people find out, oh, you're doing nutrition and dietetics, like that's awesome. Like, so do you eat carbs? And I'm like, yes, I eat carbs. And they're like, oh, well, carbs make you fat, right? Like they make you gain a lot of weight. Like if you want to lose weight, you should just completely cut out carbs. And I think that is like one of the biggest myths that I hear all the time. And I think it's really important that people understand consuming too much of anything is not good. It could be an excess amount of fruits and vegetables. That's still not desirable for your body. But also, consuming carbohydrates in general, it's not like you eat a carb and all of a sudden your body just holds on to all of the fat. That doesn't happen. And I think it's also important that people know that there are different kinds of carbohydrates, and consuming a well-balanced meal and overall well-balanced lifestyle is really what will make you your healthiest self. And again, like too much of anything is not good. So I just think everything in moderation is key. And no, consuming carbohydrates will not make you fat.
Yes,
Amen.
that is such a big one. I think we all know somebody that has been like, oh my gosh, will this low carb diet like work for me and make me lose 20
Yes.
pounds? I think we all know somebody
Yeah.
like that.
All
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah. So mine is, okay, well, I recently just got into TikTok and I'm like obsessed. Okay. So on TikTok, I feel like everybody shows the damn apple cider vinegar for weight loss thing. And they're like, take this tea, and they add all this like stuff to it, like cinnamon and like cayenne pepper. And like, there's all these like different ones too. And they're like, I lost 20 pounds. Okay. Well, that's not, no, it's just not.
No.
Like, why torture yourself? Have you guys ever taken a shot of apple cider vinegar?
I have.
No.
Before, fun fact, before I got into this program, when I was going through all my fitness phase, like extreme fitness phase, I bought apple cider vinegar and I would take a shot every morning it was probably like months that I did that. And I don't know why, I absolutely hated it, and it didn't do anything. Like it didn't make a difference at all.
No, not at all. Yeah, I've tried it too. I was like, let me try this like a while ago, and I was doing it and nothing. It did nothing for me. And recently, actually, I was looking at like a study, and it was saying that like the reason people think that like there's weight loss behind it, and this is quote unquote, is because like the taste of it is just so like horrible that sometimes people then afterwards like they might not even want to have like their breakfast. Like that's what they found out in this study. These people are like, yeah, they're like, oh my god, it was so nasty. Like they're like, they don't even want to like eat their like oatmeal afterwards. But it wasn't because like there was actual properties that are like gonna burn fat.
Yeah,
my
I've heard a lot people say, well, like, doesn't it just burn through like all the fat in your body? And no, it doesn't work like that.
If that were true, everyone would be doing it. If that
exactly.
were true.
Yeah.
For sure. How about you, Hannah?
So my nutrition myth that I absolutely despise is that you have to rely solely on the BMI chart to determine whether or not you're healthy. The BMI chart can be, helpful, kind of, maybe, but I don't know, like it's never really sat right with me because it takes your height and your weight. It doesn't say what ethnicity are you, because of course there are certain people from different parts of the world who have bigger bone structure and they're just designed to be bigger people or smaller people for whatever reason, and they could be active, they could be eating a balanced diet, but then their BMI could be, not between 18 and 24 or whatever. And so then they panic, like, I'm obese or I'm underweight. So I feel like it doesn't consider a lot of things. Health is complex. It's not just about your height and weight. There's so much more to it than that. And I go to a gym, and one of the trainers there that I love, she's in her early 40s probably, and she's very short. She's probably like 5 feet tall maybe, and she's really strong. And I remember she made a comment one day that was like, if you look at my BMI, it says I'm like morbidly obese, because she's all muscle and she's on the shorter side. And so it's taking her height and her weight, and it's like, oh my gosh, you're obese, like fix it now. But really, she's amazing. She's strong, and I don't know what her dietary habits are, but she's clearly not obese. And so the BMI chart is not always reliable. So don't have a panic attack if you check your BMI and it says you're obese, when you know what lifestyle you're living and that you are active and you are eating a balanced meal. You know how you feel, you know what you're doing. So don't cry over the BMI chart.
Yeah, I think that's super important because a lot of people get labeled, whether it be at a gym or by a healthcare provider, and that worries them. So they think they have to change their life completely just to fall into that range of what is healthy, quotes. I'm doing air quotes for those of you listening. But yeah, I think that's super important. And I think something that's beneficial, if you do care about, your body composition, things like that, a better way to see what you're made of would be by doing something like the in-body machine. And it's like, it scans your body and it will do like a printout of like your fat composition, your muscle, your bone density, everything like that. So, and it kind of puts it into perspective where you can like compare that against your BMI and like, you're not obese. You can actually see what you're made of. So if you do work out a lot, it would show that. So something like that is probably way more reliable.
Like, where's the weight coming from?
Exactly.
Yeah, for real.
Muscle,
those
fat, bone.
Those scan things also, like, they even tell you like your water weight, and like that fluctuates every day. So you might weigh like 5 pounds more on Monday, and then by Friday you weigh like 7 pounds less. So I mean, it's just, I think I agree with you.
There's so much more to it.
Definitely.
So much more to it. So of course, if anybody has ever heard of a dietitian, they have opinions about, oh, what kind of dietitian are you? Are you going to tell me to eat salad and count calories? And there are some dietitians who are like that, but there's a variety of different dietitians with different values and different beliefs based on their experiences and based on what they've learned. And so what direction do you guys see your values heading toward as a future dietitian, and why?
So, I think it's funny that when I first started in this program, I was very much the person who thought, if you don't eat this way and you don't work out this certain way, that's not healthy. I hadn't been exposed to all of these other perspectives on health. And as I'm, reaching my last semester, my perspective has, expanded completely. And I think my values are definitely shifting more towards the anti-diet mentality. And, a lot of people have the misconception that anti-diet means anti-health, and that's not what it means at all. I feel it's important to focus on long-term non-restrictive behavior changes that will, last a lifetime. I think for the people who are always doing the fad diets, they're always restricting their foods, like I can't eat sugar, I can't eat this carb, I'm cutting it out. Those are habits that don't last, and it's not something that you can sustain for the rest of your life, nor is it enjoyable. And I feel, why would you eat a certain way if it's not enjoyable? Like, your food should be something that you enjoy. It should be a time of peace and pleasure, and not something that you have to punish yourself with. So, I want everyone to have a happy, healthy relationship with themselves and with food. And of course, everyone starts at a different place, and that relationship is different for everyone. But, just know that there is a way where you can enjoy all the foods you love and still be your healthiest self. So I think that's where I see my values heading towards, for sure.
That's awesome. Yeah, I agree. Is that you,
Same.
Jenny?
Totally agree. I think as a dietitian, I just want to create like a space that is focused not just on like your health, but your overall like wellness, right? So like just not like only focusing on what you're eating and like how much you're exercising, but like also even like your mental health, and how you feel about certain things and how you manage those feelings with what you're eating and what you're doing every day. So something that just includes like just body positivity, mindfulness, those like two big keywords for me that I really want to like bring and expand more as I become a dietitian. But also, I just wanted to make others feel confident, like no matter what body size you have, where you are on your health journey, wellness journey, whatever you want to call it, like just feel confident, feel empowered to, set a goal and complete that goal. And no matter how small or big it is, just feel like, you can tackle whatever you want. And then also, like as a diabetic, I really want to help others manage their diabetes and also teach them that, they're not limited just because they are diabetic. It doesn't mean like they have to avoid every single sweet, like there's ways to incorporate all types of food into what you like into a daily like lifestyle. So, and that's with anybody. But I think those are my main things I want to achieve.
Yeah, that's awesome. For me, I went into this just thinking that I was going to be a typical, clinical dietitian working in a hospital and just like consulting patients as they came up on the chart. And I didn't really think that there were any other kind of dietitian, but as I've been exposed to more dietitians, like with professors or in life, like through networking or just on Instagram, I've realized that there's so many different approaches. And I've considered all the various approaches. And now that I've been really submerged in this lifestyle of just constantly being exposed to dietitians, I'm leaning toward the mindset of health at every size. And so before last year, I had no idea of what HAES was or the movement associated with it. And when I first heard about it, I was like, what? Like, I didn't really know how I felt about it. I thought it was kind of weird. But I looked into it, and I've followed a lot of dietitians who do stand for this movement and this idea of health at every size. And I've thought about it a lot, and I've read about it, and I truly do believe that weight or body size cannot be directly associated with one's health status, and that a person of any size can be either healthy or unhealthy. And when I say that, a lot of people kind of roll their eyes and think that I'm crazy, but if you think about it, everybody has that one friend or person who's really thin, and they're like, oh yeah, so-and-so can eat whatever they want, but it's fine because they're skinny. Why is it fine just because they have a small body? Are the components of food that they're consuming not impacting their body in a negative way, just as it would for a person in a larger body? Just because you're skinny doesn't mean you're automatically immune to any disease. And just because you're have a larger body doesn't mean you're automatically full of, all these life-threatening diseases. And like I kind of mentioned this before about how people from different parts of the world, of different cultures and ethnicities, they have different body sizes. Some are bigger boned, some are smaller, and that's just the way it is. And forcing your body to be bigger or smaller than it is designed to be can bring harm. Like, you know, the thin girls who are trying to be thick, and I mean, you can work out and all that, but it's, you know, there's a way that you were made, and there's a shape that you are. And you know, just because someone's skinny doesn't mean they're healthy, and just because someone's bigger than you does not mean that they're unhealthy and lazy. So I am definitely leaning toward health at every size.
I think that's super important, and I love that you brought that up, because I remember the exact moment when we were talking about, you know, you were taking a class with a professor. I'm pretty sure you know who exactly I'm talking about.
Yeah, yes, I love
And
her.
yes, and you were like, you know, like, yeah, there's this, you know, this way of thinking. It was called health at every size. And I'm like, what do you mean? And I remember you were explaining it to me, and I'm like, I don't know about that. You know, so then I went home, I started doing research, and I was like, oh my God, why are they not teaching us this in school? It's like, this is
Mm-hmm.
not really in any textbooks. And even the class that we took, that wasn't in the textbook. She just taught it to us because that was her belief and
Mm-hmm.
her own experience in life. And, you know, I think it's super important that more dietitians implement that way of thinking into their practices and in
Yeah.
everyday life, because it's super important. So I love that you brought that up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and going off of that, I'm about to throw my best friend out there. Sorry, best friend, if you hear this, but you know, she is a bigger girl. So one thing she's always told me, and this is how like I actually got into like haze and that whole mindset, is because she always told me like going to the doctor, they would always be like automatically
Mm-hmm.
assume she has all these like issues. Like they
Oh my
automatically
God.
assume she was gonna like, you know, have like diabetes or like have a high blood pressure, all these things just because of her body size. And then they would do all these tests and the doctors would literally be shocked. And she's like, I don't understand why you're shocked. Like, like
Mm-hmm.
just because I have a bigger body doesn't mean anything. And that's what like really opened my eyes to the whole haze philosophy and like that way of thinking. And then I really got into it more that way because I was like, wow, this is so true. But also like based on Instagram and like also reading lots of books, that also kind of opened my eyes more into like, wow, like this is a whole like field that is really interesting and people should be talking about a lot more.
For sure.
Yeah. I really love it. And I love learning more about it and explaining it to people, because everyone is so blinded by diet culture and fitness culture of you have to have a really abnormally thin waist and big hips and then strong legs and strong arms, but not too strong. Like there's all these things of like what you're supposed to look like. You're supposed to drink celery juice and you're supposed to be really cute and perfect. And like, you know, it's like, what? Why? And so when people hear that I'm a student dietitian and this is what I believe, like, no, you don't have to be a size 0 to be healthy. They're like, what? And so it's, you know, at first they don't understand, but when they think a little bit more about it, it's good to see their eyes open to new possibilities outside of diet culture.
Yeah. Have you guys seen Lizzo's video? She posted it like
Oh my
maybe
Yes.
a
gosh.
couple days ago.
Yes.
Yes.
That is like
That's
that's the
like
definition of
I
what we're
have
saying.
never liked something so fast in my life. I
that's
like
Same.
like
that so fast.
literally slap in the face to diet culture. Like take
Yes.
that, you know? Like I
She's
love
like,
that.
I work out every day and I have for the past how many years, and like she just her body is that way because that's how it is. Like you have no idea, and I can't stand it when a larger person posts a picture and you know maybe they have a big following or something and people comment and they're like, oh, like clearly you're trying to kill yourself because you're really let yourself go there. Like, I'm sorry, do you wake up with them and spend the whole day with them? You don't know what their habits are. You don't know what they're eating. You don't know what physical activity they're engaging in. Like people have no right. Or like if they see a thin girl and they're like, eat a cheeseburger. First of
Oh
all,
my God.
no. Like, oh my gosh.
For
I
sure.
can't. I can't handle it. Either end of the spectrum, I can't handle it. People should just mind their own business unless they are professional and their advice was asked and welcomed.
For sure. And I think also, like, on another note, it's a sad thing when we explain to people, what we are going to school for, and we tell them our beliefs, because they probably did ask our beliefs on a topic, and then they completely shut them down or like try to invalidate. They're like, oh yeah, you don't know anything, good luck being a dietitian. It's like,
Yeah,
okay, thanks.
I know.
So I think there's a lot that we can share by this podcast through our social media platforms to get our opinions, which are also facts. There are evidence-based health approaches that
Right.
I think a lot of people need to learn more about.
Right. They're not necessarily trendy, so not everybody knows about them. For sure.
Right. Going off this topic, what is one thing, if you could teach anything to the world, what is one thing that you would teach? Stacey.
My biggest thing, and I think this can apply to any aspect of your life, school, work, whatever it may be, health, fitness. I think success starts with just believing in yourself. I think no matter what you want to do, whatever your goals are, whatever you want to accomplish, if you just believe in yourself, that's like half of the battle. Because after you believe in yourself, you put in the hard work, you can accomplish anything you want to. I think your mind just has to be, along with that hard work. And I think, we hear this a lot, like, oh, believe in yourself, but it's not something that is easily done. It does require practice. And, I think there are a lot of awesome techniques out there to increase your self-love, belief in yourself. But yeah, I wish that was something that I could teach and instill in everyone, because everyone deserves to believe in themselves and be successful at whatever it is in their life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Like piggybacking off of yours, I used to have lots of like limiting beliefs. Like with that, I mean, like I used to say like, oh my God, I can never be this because I am bad at science. I can't like pursue this because I am not good at this. Like I always used to think like that. So I feel like believing in yourself is like just shifting your mindset, like shifting your mindset, like, okay, yeah, I'm not good at science. So what am I going to do to like, be better? Like, what am I going to seek more help? Am I going to like, study more? Am I going to meet somebody that like, knows what they're doing so they can like help me? Like there's so many ways to like shift your mind to like start believing yourself. So, yeah, I definitely agree with you, Stacey. And then mine is kind of similar to yours in the sense of just loving yourself. I think that is so, so, so important to like always love yourself, and love yourself not just for you, but love yourself enough to like, take care of yourself. Like take a self-care day to, eat when you feel hungry, like not just like, oh my God, I have to fit this bikini. No, F that. Like if you're hungry, eat. Like just
I
do
have
it
to
for
meet my
you. Like,
macros.
yeah, like no, just do it for you. Do it because you love yourself, because you care about your body, because um you just want to have a positive relationship. So I think that loving yourself is so important when it comes to health and wellness. Like I think that's one of the biggest goal you can set before accomplishing all the other little tiny goals.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah. And I think that's where people go wrong. You don't necessarily have to like love your body and love what you look like, but to love you as a being, as an existing presence in the world enough to not eat and exercise with the intention of punishing yourself or changing yourself. And I think the reason why people put it off is because they say, I don't love myself yet. You don't have to love the way you look, but your body does everything for you. Even though you hate it, it still wakes you up. It still helps you breathe and think and digest and see and smell and taste, even though you hate it every day. And you can at least love the fact that it carries you through this life, no matter what it looks like. And just take that and not engage in activities as the desire to punish and change the way you look on the outside. So yeah, I totally, like, I've said that before, Jenny, and but I always have to repeat, like, it's not about loving yourself like, oh, I'm so hot, like I love what I look like. It's
Right.
not about that.
Right.
You don't have to love what you look like. Throw away the mirrors, but just love the existing presence that you are in this world.
Yeah, and like just showing yourself some love. I think everyone needs to show themselves some more love, regardless of all those factors.
Or compassion, at least. We're all trying our best to survive.
For sure.
For sure.
So if I could teach the world one thing, if the world did not listen to anything else I said, it would be health goes far beyond weight. Throw away the scale, throw away the measuring tape or whatever it is that you use to figure all the numbers out. People love numbers. I despise them. Health goes far beyond weight and weight alone. You know how you feel. You know how you're living. You know what you're doing. So don't let a doctor or a scale or a BMI chart tell you otherwise when you are with yourself every day and you know how you feel when you wake up and when you go to bed. So health goes far beyond weight.
I love it. To kind of wrap everything up, I think that was a great introduction for all of our listeners. Hopefully we have listeners. But yeah, we're going to continue doing podcasts to keep promoting our beliefs and our values and share as we learn, because we are still in a journey of education, and we feel it is our place and our purpose to help guide those who may be super confused about everything in the nutrition world. So
let us know if you have any questions or things that you are concerned about, worried about, that you want us to talk about on here. We do have Instagrams. All of us have nutrition Instagrams. I guess we can put them somewhere. I don't know if we say them, if that will be enough.
Yeah, let's say them. We'll put them somewhere as well, but let's say them just to have it.
Okay. So my name's Hannah Calhoun, and my nutrition Instagram is blondetrition. So blonde, because I'm a fake blonde. Anyway, and then trition, like nutrition. So the word blonde, blondetrition. That's my nutrition Instagram.
I love it. I had to pull mine up just to make sure I don't say it wrong, even though it's so simple.
Changing it.
Yeah, I changed it like 5 times. But my name is Stacey Beam. That's Stacey EY. And my Instagram is Nutrition by Stace. So Nutrition by STACE. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nice and easy. Okay. So my name is Jenny Fernandez, and my Instagram is at Jen, Jen, and then nutrition. I hope you guys all know how to spell nutrition. I'm not going to spell it for you. So that could be lesson number 1. But yeah, so it's just at Jen Nutrition.
Okay. Awesome. So follow us, and you can send us a DM or comment on one of our posts. Make sure to like them. It's okay if you're stalking our accounts. I accept all forms of likes, late or early. And let us know if you have any questions or anything that you want us to talk about on here, and we will definitely try to do that for you. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.